Hello everyone, it's Crowd Games, and today we are once again going to space. This time we leave our home world and go to explore new worlds. In 2007, Tom Lemon released the Race for the Galaxy card game. 7 years later, in collaboration with Wei Hua Huang, he designed a new and improved version of the game, which for several years has held a strong position in the Board Game Geek Top 100 games. In Roll for the Galaxy, you settle worlds and build developments, produce goods, and try to build the greatest space empire. Space exploration is not an easy task, so it requires a serious approach and preparation. In the middle of the game table, place the phase tiles, dice, victory point chips, then put all the game tiles in the bag. Each player receives a dice cup and a credit marker of their own color. The player mat, the screen, the phase strip and the initial tiles, random faction and home world tiles. Then the players take turns drawing 2 tiles from the bag. They are double-sided, one side is for worlds and the other for developments. Place them in the construction zone on the mat. Put 1 tile development side up on the left, it has circle on, and 1 tile world side up on the right, that's rhombus. Next, all players receive workers, that is dice. They put 3 home dice, white, into the dice cup, and put 2 more in the citizenry on the player mat. A few more dice are granted by worlds in your empire, the initial tiles of the faction and the home world. Each round consists of 5 steps. First, players simultaneously roll all workers' dice in their cups behind their screens. Then assign workers to phases by placing them below the phase strip, matching each die phase rolled with the phase symbol. When everyone's ready, each player lifts their screen to reveal their assigned workers, do all selected phases, and in the end recruit workers. After the dice roll, players assign workers to phases by placing them below the phase strip in columns, matching each die phase rolled with the phase symbol. Die phases with an asterisk are wild and can be placed under any column. Some developments have powers that allow a player to reassign workers to other phases, placing those dice in other columns below the phase strip. Also, all players have one built-in reassign power, Dictate, shown on the phase strip. To dictate, place any worker to the right of the phase strip, thus sacrificing it for the round, and then reassign another worker to a different column. After assigning the workers, each player selects a phase by taking 1 worker and placing it on any space on the phase strip. Only selected phases occur. Then players lift their screens to reveal their assigned workers and announce the phase they have selected. To point out such phases, players flip the matching phases tiles, then return to players' cups any workers assigned to phases that weren't selected. There are 5 phases in the game. Simultaneously, players do all selected phases in numeric order. Certain actions are associated with each phase. In the first phase, your workers turn into explorers. They allow you to either draw tiles from the bag and optionally replace tiles in the construction zone or gain galactic credits. For each explorer, player can take 1 new tile or gain 2 galactic credits. In the second phase, players develop the topmost development on their construction zone stack. To do this, simply put each developer on the topmost development tile. Once the number of developers equals the topmost development's cost, the development is complete. Player moves its tile to the tableau and put the developers who completed it in the citizenry. In the third phase, players settle the topmost world the same way they did with development. Each world has an immediate effect. It occurs once upon placing the tile. All worlds grant dice. Some worlds also give galactic credits. In the fourth phase, each producer creates a good on a non-gray world. The producer die becomes the good and has to be put on the world. And in the fifth phase, each shipper takes a good from a world in the player's tableau and either trades it for galactic credits or consumes it and earns the shipping player 1 to 3 victory points. All the workers who have been used this round are put in the citizenry. And then the manage step begins. Players recruit workers. Each recruited worker decreases the player's galactic credits by 1, and players have to recruit until either their citizenry is empty or their credits run out. After recruiting, if a player has no credits, they gain 1 galactic credit. This will be their starting capital in the new round. If either the victory point chip pool was exhausted or any player has 12 or more tile squares in their tableau, counting developments and worlds, the game is over. After that, the round is completed and the final scoring begins. But that's not all. Roll for the Galaxy has Ambitions expansion, which brings new interesting mechanics to the game. In expansion, there are new faction tiles, home worlds, and double-sided game tiles, as well as new black and orange dice with 2 phases on the same face, which makes the game even more diverse. In the initial setup, the black dice replaces one of the 3 white dice in the cup. It can be assigned to one of the 2 phases displayed on the face. During the reveal step, if such worker is assigned to either of its 2 displayed phases and that phase does not occur, it can be immediately shifted to the other displayed phase, if it occurred. The game also features new objective tiles and talent counters. Each objective lists a condition that has to be met to be achieved. If its condition has been met, the player who achieved it gains the listed number of talent counters from the supply, worker side face up, and then flips the objective tile face down as it is no longer available. Talent counters are considered dice and can be assigned to any phases. Then they become workers. During reveal, any talent workers assigned to phases that didn't occur are returned to a player's unused talent counters. At game end, unused talent counters are worth 1 victory point apiece and do not count as dice for tie-breaking purposes. In the Roll for the Galaxy, there are lots of mechanics, planets, and developments. In each game, depending on the developments, you have to change your tactics and adapt. For example, to focus on worlds of a certain color, or to focus on the trading and consuming. It is very important to keep track of how many dice will be in the cup in the next round. Fewer dice means fewer opportunities. Of course, there are situations when you are totally unlucky and the wrong faces on the dice are rolled, but you can use the developments or dictate power to overcome and somehow fix this unfortunate situation. In general, there are no hopeless situations. And the most interesting point of the game is to anticipate the thoughts of the opponent, try to understand which phase they are going to activate, and how to place the workers more profitably so that they can be used not in one but in several phases of the round. So, go and explore new worlds. As usual, we don't say goodbye. Stay tuned. Find out more about our localized games at crowdgames.ru. To learn more about our games, visit crowdgames.us.